How are you doing, my friend? Welcome to my social pathology video, by which you understand underlying mechanics of social problems, and also by which you can reconfirm your life direction to attain true happiness on this planet Earth. This time, I would like to discuss Mr. President Biden snap at a CNN reporter over post-summit Putin questions and later made an apology for that. My name is Dr. Samurai, a professor specialized in international social pathology and also 20-year experienced active prison counselor. First, I would like to give you brief general information and later on get into our main discussions. Okay? Are you ready? Let's start. So, it was like this. Based upon Mr. Putin's denial of human rights abuses against Russian dissident Alexei Navalny and his refusal to admit his responsibility for Russian cyber attack on major U.S. oil pipeline and his tepid commitment to improving U.S.-Russia relations. This female CNN reporter asked Mr. Biden right after the summit with Mr. Putin, how could he be so confident that Russian leader would change his behavior? In response to that, he almost walked away but came back and said, let's get it straight. What I said was what will change his behavior is the rest of the world reacts to him and diminishes his standing in the world. And he also added, if you don't understand it, you are in the wrong business. But later on, right before he boarded Air Force One, he said he owed his last questionnaire an apology. He shouldn't have been such a wise guy, and he apologized for him having been shot. This is pretty much it. What can we learn from this? The first thing I would like to emphasize is diplomatic affairs between nations. It's always game of negotiation. About result, nobody is sure. This is my speculation. Mr. Putin is well known for being late to attend most of the meetings. I think that is his tactics. He was actually very late when he came to Japan to meet with the then Prime Minister Abe. That he believes put him higher status than his opponent. But this time, he came to the meeting with Mr. President Biden precisely on time. That means his respect for Mr. President, and also he was afraid of Mr. Biden for his previous remarks about Mr. Putin, which was not necessarily positive. It started out with the negative by Mr. Biden. By showing up on time, Mr. Putin showed his respect for whatever reason. So that is negative to positive. And the most important thing is to keep relationships in which they can continuously talk to each other. I repeat, cutting off of the other is very easy, but without continuous communications, nothing positive could be produced. We need to remember that all those leaders of superpowers, like Mr. Putin and Mr. Xi Jinping, they are doing things based on their convictions. They have unshakable convictions on what they have been doing. So to change it is not that easy business. Let me put it this way. If Mr. Biden had said exactly what the female reporter suggested, like about his human rights abuses and his alleged cyber attack on major U.S. oil pipeline, and his not active attitude towards improving the relationship with the United States. What would you think that would have produced? Positive or negative? Not that difficult question. It must have been very negative because he is coming there representing one huge nation, Russia. If he was pushed into the corner, it's highly likely he could have snapped and the relationship cut off. Mr. Biden might have thought about it too. I mean, talking about all those issues before he actually met with Mr. Putin. But I guess what happened behind the door, Mr. Putin showed more respect than Mr. Biden expected. So he adjusted his course probably. Again, I would like to say those leaders are convinced of what they are doing. So it is impossible to change their behavior by mentioning all those negative things they are doing at one meeting. Period. Russia at this moment is holding a key position, seeing that China is expanding so extensively over the world. So it was not the right decision to cut him off of the future talk, I speculate. So as a game player, Mr. Biden's response was very much to the point. No better than that. And remember, everybody is nervous when they see others in the first time. I assume Mr. Biden was self-satisfied about what went on in the meeting. And then that CNN reporter asked all those negative questions, sounding like blaming Mr. Biden's ways of. Nonetheless, Mr. Biden apologized to her for his careless response to her. The president is something like the father of the country. So, presidential election is who do you want as your father in your family? You can choose your father. As to that, Mr. Biden has been a very good father. Nobody is perfect, and he may have had moments that he necessarily dealt with issues perfectly. But one thing we can tell is he is selfless. He is doing things for American people. Because you know why? He knows his incumbency is not going to be that long. He really wants to do something good at the end of his political career as the father of the United States. He is clearly good-willed. If it had been Mr. Trump, he would never have apologized. The world is now at a very crossroads of which way to go. At this kind of moment, all we need is a father whom we can trust, who acts truly for the family and for the society, that is, for the world. And I think there's no better person than Mr. President Biden at this moment who can take care of this situation. Remember, nobody is perfect, but all in all he's been doing is based upon his goodwill. The fact that he apologized to one reporter means he listens to what the children say to him as a father. So if we would like to make the world proceed to a better direction, what we can do at least is do things in a way that will support him in coming up with the better results. We all have to understand a big picture when we act as an adult. Diplomatic negotiations is the only thing what the politicians probably should not disclose 100% in public, especially in advance of the meetings. And we need some kind of trust if we know we have the father we can trust. This is it. If you like this kind of discussions, please click that red Dr. Sumer logos, and you can also check my best video playlist at the description section. And all of us, including you, my friend, if we act positively together globally, I believe world would change. You have a wonderful time wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Bye bye now.